Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to honor the victims of the terrible events that happened on September 11th, 2001, 20 years ago today. Please stand as you're able, and for the national anthem, all personnel in uniforms, please present arms. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, we are gathered here today to honor the victims that died 20 years ago on September 11th, 2001. It was a normal Tuesday morning, beautiful skies in New York City. Everyone was going to work that night before. Everyone kissed their kids goodnight, told their families they loved them, went to bed, woke up that next morning to go to work. And a couple hours into their day, as it started at 8:46 a.m., the North Tower, the World Trade Center in Manhattan, New York, was struck. At that time, people were not sure. They thought it was an accident. But shortly later, at 9:03 a.m., the South Tower was struck, and everyone knew at that point it was not an accident. The United States was under attack. By then, the FDNY was responding, and they had plenty of units on scene. Alongside that, there was also members of the Port Authority Police Department in conjunction with the NYPD and New Jersey State Police. Just a few minutes later, the Pentagon was struck in Washington, D.C. Luckily, not that many people were hurt at the Pentagon. And just shortly after the Pentagon was struck, at 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapsed, taking thousands of people with it, including many firefighters with the Fire Department in New York. After that, luckily, Flight 93 in Pennsylvania at 10:07 a.m. was successfully taken back over from the hijackers and crash landed in a field in Pennsylvania. And just 21 minutes later, the North Tower collapsed, killing even more firefighters and civilians. Today, we are here to honor the 2,977 civilians' lives lost, 343 firefighters with the Fire Department of New York, 37 Port Authority police officers, 23 New York Police Department officers, and 8 emergency medical technicians that lost their lives during the tragic terror attacks on September 11, 2001. At this time, we'll be playing the final call given out to the Fire Department of New York and our 343 brothers that were lost.
FDNY 343 at the World Trade Center Towers. Please respond. FDNY 343 at the World Trade Center Towers. Please respond. FD43 the world. This is the last call.
In the words of George W. a few days after the terrible events, he said, "We thank God for the unity and compassion demonstrated since September 11, heart and soul of the American people, and we will continue to help those who are hurting or are God watch them. We are great families for the service and sacrifice. We pray for peace and ask God and resolve in our evil. This conflict in terms of others, it will end in a way and at an hour of our choosing." At this time, we'll be playing Amazing Grace on bagpipes presented by the Fire Department of New York. One final time, I would like to remind everyone that just because it has been 20 years since the tragedy of 9/11, forget the brave men and women that gave their lives, and plus years of soldiers that were fighting for our freedoms in Afghanistan, protecting us from another tragic event like that happening again. I would like to thank you all for coming, and just please remember the our brothers and sisters that gave their lives, willing to save so many people. Without them, there certainly would have been a greater loss of casualties.
Okay. Alright, it's done.